One of the biggest questions going into Season 4 is, will Robby Keene redeem himself? He has since fallen from grace and plans to compete under Kreese's Cobra Kai for the next All-Valley tournament. There have been many scenarios and speculations, some include of how he may not be redeemed until Season 5. However, there is one that I did overlook, and one that may surprise you, and it involves a sensei outside of Daniel, Johnny, and Kreese. This is my theory of how Chozen redeems Robby in Season 4. The first question on your mind is, how can these two completely unrelated characters cross paths? Well, first, they're not completely unrelated. Cobra Kai loves the parallels between the characters of the past and the characters of the present, something that has been touched upon in my previous videos. Johnny is our modern day Mr. Miyagi. Both are handymen who lost everything, become the much needed father figure in someone else's life, and teaches an unorthodox way of karate while also sharing life lessons so a student doesn't make the same mistakes. And while Johnny taught Miguel and others the way of Cobra Kai through traditional means, you cannot forget about the cement truck. Daniel is the modern day Sato, an outsider who was taught Miyagi-Do, came into power, someone who backed his rival into a corner by drastic means. Sato's "fight me or the village is gone," while Daniel's "I will raise your rent with my influence to shut you down," and they both are unable to let go of their grudge until something drastic happens. Now that being said, if Daniel is Sato, what does that make Robby?
Take that!
Chozen! You wouldn't be wrong if you thought Robby is a modern day Johnny with some Daniel mixed in, but here is how Robby is like Chozen. Both are #1 students who are taught by either family or someone who treats them like family. Both work directly for this person. Chozen works for Sato in his crop business while Robby worked for Daniel in the dealership. Both are not fans of their rival, though Robby's a little more courteous to Miguel in Season 2, but this changes in Season 3. Both have had moments of crime or lived dishonorably. Chozen cheating the villagers and going with Sato's underhanded tactics of destroying Miyagi's property, while Robby has led a life of crime and delinquency. Both are proficient fighters in their style and are also #1 students of their dojo. Chozen goes so far as to even teach the classes at Sato's dojo to soldiers and is able to take on multiple attackers, much how Robby is also able to fend off multiple attackers in several instances, and helps Sam lead the students in warm-ups during Miyagi-Do training. Chozen has beaten Daniel in at least one confrontation, specifically at Miyagi's house in Okinawa, and Robby beat Miguel at the school fight at the end of Season 2. Both have attacked their rival sensei and managed to land a hit on them. Chozen is the only person in the franchise who ever struck Miyagi, while Robby manages to land a punch on Johnny. Both are at one point disowned by their sensei/father-like figure. Sato disowns Chozen for not helping Daniel in the storm, while Daniel disowned Robby after realizing he was Johnny's son and also after the apartment fight. After this happens, the father figure tries to help but is unsuccessful. Sato tries to talk Chozen out of fighting Daniel but fails, and while Daniel attempts to build a better case for Robby, Robby completely cuts ties with him as Robby refuses to speak to him. Because of this, their #1 student has fallen from grace. This student is also upset at the rival for taking something from him. For Chozen, it is his honor, while for Robby, Miguel took away Sam and his father. Even at a disadvantage, both are the superior fighter. Robby almost beat Miguel despite having only one arm to use, and Chozen is able to easily overpower Kumiko's interference and still fight Daniel. There is also one notable detail here. Chozen shares the same wounds that Robby does after a non-tournament fight. And I'm not talking about Robby's match that he lost to the locker, but the school fight that he had with Miguel. Let's do a side by side. They both are bleeding from the side of their mouth, though on opposite sides. They both have a wound near their left eye, and they both have a wound on their forehead, again though on opposite sides. What makes this even crazier is the fact that Miguel shares the same wounds as Daniel does from this fight. Bleeding from a nose, a cut or bruise near the eye, and a cut on the cheek. Ironically, the part where Miguel is crippled comes right after Toria holding Sam and choosing no mercy, as a nod to Daniel holding Chozen and asking him to live or die. Now this brings us to our next point. How would Chozen save Robby? I honestly believe that Robby will refuse to listen to Johnny or Daniel in any capacity, especially at the end of Season 3. It would take someone that would understand the position Robby has been in, and that would be Chozen. We don't know about Chozen's parents, but it is obvious in Karate Kid Part 2 that his uncle is the closest thing he has to a father, much like Miyagi to Daniel and Daniel to Robby. If Chozen is contacted by Daniel to come to America to help teach, it is possible that Chozen would be pulled aside by Johnny and Daniel to explain what's going on, especially with Robby. Chozen would realize that this young man is much how he was back in 1985, and if he isn't saved, he could stay on the wrong path. Chozen would have to get Robby alone. I could see this happening if Robby's at school or on his own out in town somewhere. Now yes, Robby may rebuff Chozen at first, but he did the exact same thing to Kreese until realizing Kreese was right about the real world. Chozen would have to talk to Robby about his past with Daniel, and how he almost let his life go to ruin. He was given by a chance by the one person who still believed in him, Sato. Johnny and Daniel both still care and believe in Robby, and know Kreese is only using him, so they would be more than willing to have Robby back. Another way this would happen is that Kreese would find Robby and Chozen, and with Robby trying to be convinced by Kreese to stay, Chozen would intervene and fight Kreese. Chozen would beat Kreese and help Robby get back to Miyagi-Do / Eagle Fang. The scenario with Kreese would happen after the tournament with Cobra Kai winning, or if they did lose, Chozen would save Robby from Kreese much like Miyagi saved Johnny from Kreese. This could also lead into an unlikely but possible scenario where Johnny and Daniel also have to get involved, with Silver coming to Kreese's aid. Either way, I strongly believe Chozen is the key to Robby's redemption. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. How would you see Robby being redeemed, or how can Chozen play a part in Season 4? If you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing, commenting, giving it a like, and sharing it with your friends, as these all help the channel grow. Thanks for watching, stay beautiful, stay awesome, and we'll catch you around next time.